Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News for Wednesday, March 13th. How is everyone doing tonight? I hope that you have had a lovely and relaxing day. It has been a big day for the news, so I decided that I was just going to go live tonight instead of doing the normal thing. Let me just do a refresh on the chat here. I want to see how many people we've got. If I can get people just to say hello, that would be great. I'm trying out something new. I'm trying to get the chat to show up in this little window that you see there. Makes it easier for me to see it. We've got people from Michigan, people from Washington State, UK, North Dakota, Eugene, Oregon. We've got Dayton, Ohio, Minnesota, Kentucky, Maine, Oklahoma, Missouri, Newport, Oregon, Utah, Las Vegas, Pennsylvania, Alabama, Cali, Washington, Texas, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Chicago, Illinois, Minnesota, upstate New York, Cleveland, Ohio, Texas, Indiana, Nebraska, Niagara Falls, Canada. Hello, my friend Leaf. We've got Duluth, Minnesota, Washington State. What is going on with Facebook? That's a great question. There are some strange things happening. I'll say that for sure. Real quick, before we get into the news, I have a quick word from my sponsor. One of the best things you can invest in for your home protection is a Patriot flashlight. You'll never waste money on batteries again. The Survivor Tactical Flashlight is solar powered. It lights up the darkest of nights with the powerful 500 lumen flashlight that can be seen from miles away. It features a life-saving emergency strobe light setting along with 4 more unique lighting modes. And you can charge your phone anywhere, anytime with the Survivor's USB port. Other features include a compass, rope and wire cutter, solar-powered recharging, high and low beam LED modes, a glass-breaking hammer, all while remaining lightweight and durable. There's a limited supply available, and this is the very last chance to get yours at a discount before they sell out. Visit PatriotFlashlight.com and use code REDPILL20 for 20% off. Excellent. Just want to say thank you very much to Patriot Flashlight for sponsoring this program, making it so that I don't have to go and censor my content. It really helps out. Let me make this a little bit smaller so you guys can see it and so that I can see more of the screen. There we go. There we go. All right, so if you guys want to get your own Patriot Flashlight, follow the link in the description below and use code REDPILL20 for 20% off your Patriot Flashlight. Excellent, guys. Okay, so first of all, remember the other day our favorite Anon mentioned something about the DIA, Denver International Airport. Well, my friend Mary Beth Mashner on Twitter, she says, look at me. I'm with U.S. Attorney John Huber. He was on my flight from SLC to DIA yesterday. John Huber went to Denver International Airport coincidentally not long after it was mentioned by our favorite Anon. That's excellent. And let's see here. So she says, I told him I was a big patriot and thanked him for restoring the republic, and I can't wait for the big reveal. What an honor. There she is with John W. Huber, our favorite U.S. attorney. That's a rather smart attaché case he's got right there. Very cool. How cool would that be to meet John Huber at the airport? You guys, there's a bunch of people that have asked me to ask all of you to pray for them. No, not the least of all, my friend Elle, my friend Catherine, praying for her son, my friend Linda, praying for her voice, our friend Nate, praying for the safety of he and his family, an op public servant. Oh, she mentioned in the chat earlier that her German Shepherd was recently diagnosed with cancer. I am so sorry. You guys, I had a really big scare today with Muffin also. 2 days ago, my daughter found a mass on her left shoulder, and it definitely wasn't there a couple weeks ago. So I made an emergency appointment at the vet. We took her in this morning. They did a biopsy, and it turned out to be an abscess. Thank God. So Muffin is safe. She's on a regimen of antibiotics, and she will be okay. Hopefully, everything's going to be fine. What happened is she probably got tagged by one of the cats. That really wouldn't surprise me at all. I have a couple people I need to say thank you for some super chats already. We've got Scott Tice. Thanks for the great work. Thank you very much for showing up and for that super chat, Scott. Lisa Wareham says, thank you for your hard work. Where is RBG? You know what? I wish I knew. I wish I knew. And let's see. Let me just get my stream. I've got I've got a new setup here, you guys. I set up an old monitor to my left so that I can just have the stream information from YouTube, and then I've got my regular 2 monitors right here in front of me, one with the actual desktop that I'm showing you guys, and then another above me which shows what it is that I'm streaming, so I can get a look at what you guys are seeing. Pretty cool. Oh, we got somebody from the Philippines here. That's excellent. Good stuff. Yeah, RBG, she is missing in action. I was talking with another friend yesterday about the fact that somebody must be voting for her because we still haven't seen anything about her. Now, this is really interesting. Before we get into the Facebook and the social media blackout, Senator Dianne Feinstein was questioning this gentleman right here. He is a nominee for the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. His name is Daniel R. Collins. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this odd line of questioning.
Okay, let me ask you another one. Do you believe that trial by military commission is appropriate for U.S. citizens accused of terrorism in the United States?
I don't know that I ever specifically opined on that question.
I don't know whether you did or not. I'm asking you the question.
I don't think it would be appropriate for me to answer that kind of hypothetical. That's something that could come before the courts.
Well,
look at her
I'm
face.
not sure that's a valid reason that a trial by a military commission for a U.S. citizen accused of terrorism could be held by a military commission as opposed to a court. So you're saying you don't have an opinion on that subject?
No, I'm saying that, that kind of a claim that a military commission would be inappropriate is something that someone who was contesting that procedure would then file in a court, and I don't think it would be appropriate for me as a nominee to a court to opine on that open question.
Let me move on. In a case about a city ordinance.
So, Dianne Feinstein, out of nowhere, decides to ask, what about military tribunals? She is afraid. Did you see that look on her face? When she stuttered, she stopped and stuttered because she was so worried about her own safety and security in terms of a military tribunal. Thank you very much, P. Vance 343, for that super chat. Paul Vance here. So proud to be part of this. So proud to have you here, Paul. Thank you for that super chat. I did have another one that came through while we were talking about Dianne Feinstein. That was Jeff Stewart, my good buddy Jeff Stewart. Hello, Patriots worldwide. Thank you so much, Jeff. Glad you're here, buddy. All right, so what do you guys think? Do you think Dianne Feinstein is getting twitchy, thinking that she is going to end up in a military tribunal herself? So, if everybody who was waiting for me to post a video last night and went to bed because I couldn't get it up until after 3 a.m. should know that YouTube was not working from between 9 p.m. until 3 a.m. Could not get anything to upload. Very, very strange. It seemed like they were also blocking conservative videos. There was somebody I was speaking with last night. We both have Apple TVs. And anytime they tried to pull up a conservative video, it wouldn't work. But if you went to like the Young Turks or something like that, then it would work just fine. So what's up with that, guys? Not only the Young Turks, but it was lots of different types of things that YouTube would not perhaps, want to show during a time like this when we're trying to get some consciousness expansion going on. Very, very strange. So not only is YouTube down, but look at this. Look at this map of YouTube. It was all over the world. It wasn't just the United States, but it was primarily the United States, I would say. More areas in the United States than other places. Georgia Peach says, pain coming, they are panicking. Thank you so much for that super chat, Georgia Peach. Glad to see you here. So, Facebook is down, guys. Facebook is down. Hey, Eminem, good day. Red Pill 78 popping in before I go to sleep. Love to everyone. God's blessing to all. Amen. Thank you very much, Eminem. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for that super chat. That's interesting. My screen was just doing something new when you gave that super chat. That's weird. It was like it was asking me to do it. So Facebook is down, you guys. Facebook's been down all day. Lots of reports from my conservative friends initially saying that they were unable to post things or they were unable to use things like the messaging service. They couldn't get their feeds to load. Now, look at that. Patricia Furlong says it's not down in Colorado. Well, it is not, globally, or it's not all over the United States, but it certainly is in many places. So let's take a look at this USA Today article that our favorite Anon posted earlier. Facebook, Instagram go down around the world in an apparent outage. Having trouble accessing Facebook or Instagram on Wednesday afternoon? You weren't alone. The massively popular social network started having problems at around noon Eastern time, with issues popping up across Facebook proper, Facebook Messenger, and Instagram around the world. This service outage is one of the longest Facebook has ever experienced. As of publication, service has not yet been fully restored. Roland Dobbins, an engineer with network performance firm NetScout, said the outage was due to an accidental traffic jam issue with the European internet company that collided with Facebook and other websites. I don't know if that's true. It sounds like a good cover story, though. While not malicious in nature, such events can prove disruptive on a widespread basis, he said. Some users of the Facebook-owned WhatsApp reported having issues sending photos on the popular messaging app. As with nearly every Facebook outage, users headed to Twitter with the hashtag #FacebookDown, quickly becoming the top trending topic in the United States. DownDetector.com, which monitors websites, showed the company experiencing issues across a large portion of the U.S. and Europe, in addition to reported problems in parts of South America, Asia, and Australia. So here we can see a global heat map. Let's pull up, I think I had his Twitter already pulled up, but so here it is. This is obviously the picture I used to make the card for the program. But you've got, heavy outage here on the East Coast, spotty outage throughout the United States. Looks like Colorado is largely unaffected. Even Alaska, no, I'm sorry, not Alaska. You got Canada and then, what is that, Washington? And then you've got places down in South America. You've got lots of Western countries in Europe that are being affected. Let's take a little closer look. Here is that closer look at the United States here, mostly on the East Coast. Now, isn't it interesting that our favorite Anon was just telling us some information about Facebook the other day? Was that information about the drops, about LifeLog? So we are told, oops, I need to refresh my screen, guys. Sorry about that. Oh, God's Guy says, remember our prayer, Muffin, okay, in Jesus' name. And I think Dark Side shaking in their shoes, justice. You are correct, my friend, and thank you so much for praying for Muffin. And don't forget, everyone, Op Public Servant, her poor German Shepherd. We need to keep him in our thoughts and prayers. C60, okay? Op Public Servant. Someone mentioned this the other day, C60. All right, I believe that's for carbon 60. I don't know much about it, but I've heard a lot of people talking about it when we were talking about our dogs the other night. So please look into that. If anybody knows anything specifically about C60 and can point her in a good direction, then please do that. Hold on, we're refreshing my screen so we can get that LifeLog dump. Ooh, there's been some good posts. All right, so remember the last time our favorite Anon talked about comms with Xbox Live and the PS PlayStation. Right after that, they went down, okay? I actually got that in a big, I don't know where it is. I'll have to find it. But so they say, how much more obvious can this be? Think LifeLog dump. So the other day we had many posts about LifeLog because we were being told about how it was essentially the DARPA project that became Facebook. Let's take a look here. Xbox Live is down. This was posted from an Anon on the boards showing us that it actually did happen. So they talked about it and then it went off. Okay, Patricia Furlong says, love all of you. Thank you very much, Patricia. We love you too. So do you believe in coincidences? Nothing to see here. Why isn't this getting bigger? I need to go like this. Okay, so you'll remember we had those dumps about texts, emails, Gmail drafts, Gmail, Hamcoms, PS, Xbox, chat logs. As soon as our favorite Anon said that, boom, spike, it's all down. Servers getting wiped all across the United States. stopping the spread of incriminating information or the getting of incriminating information. Public servant, keep us informed, okay? I was crying the last 2 days just thinking that I was going to lose Muffin. It was pretty bad, so I know how you're feeling. Our Facebook and Instagram down. Users can't post across the globe. So this is just some actual pictures of what it looked like. I don't have Facebook, so I didn't get I didn't get these errors. But Facebook will be back soon. This one said people were angry. Let's see. Some more pictures down here. Nope, I thought there were some more pictures. So that's enough of that one. All right, so not only were Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and WhatsApp taking issue with us using them, but my friend OTQVV number 2 was having issues with Twitter as well. Pretty sure I didn't tweet more than 2,400 tweets in the last 24 hours. Coincidence that I got this message while trying to retweet Brendan Dilley, Real Hub Life. So look at this. It goes to retweet and it says, you're over the daily limit for sending tweets. Please wait a few hours and try again. That is insane. Insane to think that they are going to start using us like that. Prepping Sapper says, I think they will release everything they have when their time comes. Major FF possible. Be prepared. Be vigilant. Red Pill, you're awesome. You're awesome, Prepping Sapper. And Prepping Sapper is right. We need to be vigilant because this week, the next couple of days are going to be tenuous. The deep state is really on edge. They know this is coming. I don't think Dianne Feinstein would have been asking questions about military tribunals of a Trump Ninth Circuit Court nominee unless she was really scared. Now, you guys, I don't know if you know about Cvine. I've talked about Cvine before once or twice. But they are the ones who are actually reporting on the real military tribunals which are taking place in Gitmo. I've spoken with the military liaison that schedules this. I've spoken with Cvine. I have vetted this information. They are a legitimate journalistic organization, and they have built this huge website with a forum, with video uploading capabilities, with live streaming capabilities. Shafe1903, thanks for that super chat. The people from Cvine got a hold of me today. We were supposed to do an interview, but Linda's voice is it's mysteriously gone. She sounded like she was doing really not very well. Lady Warrenon says, weapons of our warfare. That's correct. That's right. These are the weapons of our warfare. Truth and justice. So I'd like for you, that's why I included Linda's name in the prayer list tonight. But I want you to go ahead and, if you feel so moved, go to Cvine. They have a huge following on Facebook. Huge following on Facebook, and lots of their people could not get to it. So I thought I would mention it, because if you couldn't get to Cvine on Facebook, you can go to their website. It's c-vine.com. It is in the description below. Op Public Servant says, for all the puppies. Thank you so much, Public Servant. Appreciate that. Appreciate that super chat. All right. So next, our friend Methods, my crack researcher, said, so Q Plus tags the same video 12 times. And not only are there 12 people in the trials for treason meme, but former President Obama is the person at the 12-second mark in this video will get Donald Trump elected. Very, very interesting. What are we being told? Well, I have somewhat of an idea. Let's go ahead and take a look. So, Obama is in the crosshairs. Now, this is actually, I think there's 13 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, there's 12. There's 12. So, yeah, all of these people will soon be arrested because they committed treason. All right, so moving on. Speaking of treason, Donald Trump tweeted today that the just revealed FBI agent Lisa Page transcripts make the Obama Justice Department look exactly like what it was, a broken and corrupt machine. Hopefully, justice will finally be served. Much more to come. Much more to come. What is that much more to come? It is everything we've been hoping for, guys. Courtney Neal says, stay strong, stay united, stay prepared and alert. Thank you very much, Courtney, for that super chat. Appreciate it. Wise words. Everybody needs to watch their six. Hey, Gina Madaliano is in the house, too. Thank you so much, Gina. Let's see. Go to past this. Now, another excellent tweet from my buddy Methods. Watch Representative Doug Collins. And incidentally, Doug is the rep who released these recent transcripts very, very recently. He's talking about the release of the page transcripts, bias towards HRC during the investigations, Loretta Lynch, etc. Let me just push pause. We're going to rewind it back, and we're going to turn up the volume. Let's go ahead and take a listen to Representative Collins.
Does this mean, in some ways, is it possible that the president has been treated differently? What does this tell us?
I think he has been treated differently. This is not an up for debate argument. This is what we've been saying for over 2 years while we had Democrats making fun of us, Democrats thinking it was nothing going on. The transcript releases show an inherent two-tier system, one in which Hillary Clinton gets the treatment that she got, where there was actually at first concern that they were going to charge her, and then with Loretta Lynch in charge, before she recused herself, made it very clear that that was not going to happen. And then we see it transitioning right into the same corrupt triumvirate of Page and McCabe and Strzok and others, who then go into the discussion on President Trump through the Russia investigation. That's what we see right now.
Not to make this salacious, just to spit the facts, and not to lose sight of the fact of why we would believe something that Page would say about Strzok. They were lovers. They were close, and they were communicating on work devices. That's how we got to see their text messages. Why is it that we're now just seeing these transcripts? What's going on with the DOJ in terms of not releasing these things more contemporaneously?
Well, this is not up to the DOJ to release these. This is up to the votes in Congress. This is an investigation, if you remember, Harris, that was going on in the previous Congress with both the Judiciary Committee and the Oversight Committee as well. At the end of the Congress, it ran out, and with the Democrats taking over in the House, they chose to let this lie. I've not chose to let it lie. I believe that accountability is needed here. I believe that what was happening was a result of an intentional effort by the DOJ to involve itself in a political process and not be the blind eye of justice that we see. That's why I'm releasing these. That's why I'll continue to release these. I would encourage people to follow us on Twitter or however and get ready, because more are coming.
Everybody follow Representative Doug Collins on Twitter, because he is bringing it. Excellent. Now, did somebody say that Bill Smith is in the house? Is the Bill Smith in the house? Bill Smith, if that's you, I'd love to talk to you. Love to hear what's going on, man. I'm glad that you're back making videos. If it's not the Bill Smith, well, then that's okay. Still glad you're here, Bill Smith. John Hanley says RBG is DEAD, but blood temp unchanged. Oh, that's great. Oh, love it, love it. All right, so moving on. My friend Nate Kane. He says, thank you, Representative Doug Collins, for releasing this testimony. It proves the DOJ under BHO was running a two-tier system of justice that allowed politically connected to get away with serious crimes. What other crimes were ignored? 1 Timothy 2, 1-4. Hashtag pray for government. Peggy Tozer says, where we go one, we go all. Thank you, Peggy. Definitely appreciate that. Let's see. I think there's supposed to be a picture with this tweet right here. Oh, yeah, that's right. I love that picture of Hillary. This is actually a link to a Gateway Pundit story, and I've got that story right here. Leaked Lisa Page testimony reveals FBI was considering charging crooked Hillary under Espionage Act until the DOJ told them no. On Friday, Republican Doug Collins, Georgia, released the Bruce Orr testimony transcript online. Representative Collins said his patience with the DOJ had grown thin, so he released the testimony. Collins plans on releasing more testimony. Now, the Bruce Orr testimony disclosed that Bruce Orr gave his wife's opposition research to Trump to the FBI in a flash drive. On Tuesday, Representative Doug Collins released the Lisa Page testimony online. If you guys watched my video last night, you saw that we actually watched this video already, but just in case you didn't, I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Last week on the floor of this chamber, I released the transcript of the interview of Bruce Orr from our investigation into apparent wrongdoing at the FBI and DOJ. At that time, I said there would make additional transcripts from the committee investigation public, and I'm here today to keep that promise. As I stated then, our interview transcripts were pertinent to a congressional investigation, but the 115th Congress ended, the investigation was closed, and copies were shared with certain members of Congress. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I request that the link dougcollins.congress.gov Page be placed in the record so the American people can review the transcript of Lisa Page. The American people deserve to know what transpired at the highest echelons of the FBI during the tumultuous time for the Bureau. Out of an abundance of caution, the transcript has a limited number of narrowly tailored redactions related only to confidential sources and methods, non-public information about ongoing investigations, and non-material personal information. I will continue to work to release as many transcripts as possible. The American people deserves transparency, and with that...
Oh, with that, I'll pass. Thank you very much, Doug. The testimony released today revealed the FBI was, and this was an article from yesterday, revealed the FBI was considering charging crooked Hillary Clinton under the Espionage Act until the Department of Justice told them no. Sorry, you guys, I'm trying to adjust my microphone here. Well, it looks like it wants to go where it wants to go. Okay. So, the Washington Examiner reported former FBI lawyer Lisa Page testified last year that officials in the Bureau, including then FBI Director James Comey, discussed Espionage Act charges against Hillary Clinton, citing gross negligence. But the Justice Department shut them down. Newly released transcripts from Page's private testimony in front of a joint task force of the House Judiciary and Oversight Committees in July 2018 sheds new light on the internal discussions about an investigation into Clinton's emails. This goes back to the FBI's mid-year exam investigation, which looked into whether Clinton committed crimes when she sent and received classified information on her unauthorized private email server while serving as Secretary of State. And of course, Comey cleared Clinton of all charges in a press conference on July 5th, 2016. One of my angriest days. I was pretty mad when that happened. Moving on, John Radcliffe says, Lisa Page confirmed to me under oath that the FBI was ordered by the Obama DOJ not to consider charging Hillary Clinton for gross negligence in the handling of classified information. Let's look at the actual testimony here. Jeff Stewart says, lock her up. Yes. Mr. Ratcliffe says, okay, so let me, if I can, I know I'm testing your memory, but when you say advice you got from the department, you're making it sound like it was the department that told you. You're not going to charge gross negligence because we're the prosecutors and we're telling you we're not going to. Miss Page says, that's correct. Lisa Wareheim, thank you for that super chat. Thank you for joining us tonight. Now, not only that, but more. Joe Mo 23 RRT says, this was real Donald Trump 3417. Everyone called him crazy. Below is a transcript from Lisa Page. Barack Obama ran a banana republic coup attempt, plain and simple. Leotards says, the media doesn't report what's really going on. Do you think the world will ever learn about the satanic ritual abuse of children by the elites? Yes, I do believe that they will learn of it. It's not going to come out quick. I mean, it's been taking its sweet time getting there, but it's going to be released. You guys remember this? Terrible. Just found out that Obama had my wires tapped in Trump Tower before the victory. Nothing found. This is McCarthyism. Now, in the testimony that was just released, Mr. Ratcliffe says, let me move on to a text message on September 2nd, 2016. It's a series of texts that you exchanged with Agent Strzok. And at one point you texted him, yes, because POTUS wants to know everything we are doing. Miss Page says, oh yeah, I don't see where it is, but I know what it is, yeah. Mr. Ratcliffe says, okay, and do you know the context of what it is? Miss Page said, it is, this is in the context of, Mr. Ratcliffe then interrupts and says, well, first of all, so is POTUS, I'm assuming that's President Obama, Miss Page responds. Mr. Ratcliffe ends with President Obama. Okay, President Obama, straight to the top. We know all about it. Now, in another article dropped by our favorite Anon today, from Sarah Carter, sarahacarter.com, explosive Lisa Page testimony, dossier timeline contradictions, and DOJ interference. Let's see. Testimony provided to Congress from former FBI lawyer Lisa Page reveals contradictions as to whether she learned about British spy Christopher Steele's anti-Trump dossier, sheds light on the insurance policy, and exposes the Obama Justice Department's decision not to charge Hillary Clinton with allegedly violating the Espionage Act. Page's testimony, which was delivered behind closed doors last night before a joint task force of the House Oversight and Judiciary Committees, reveals the internal machinations between senior bureau leadership and the DOJ. Basically, her testimony adds more depth to what happened during the critical moments during the FBI's investigation into President Trump's election campaign and the Bureau's mid-year exam investigation into Clinton. As for the Clinton investigation, Page said the Bureau did not blow over gross negligence. She told Representative John Ratcliffe, Republican Texas, there were ongoing discussions with former FBI Director James Comey and the senior officials about the issue. She said, on its face, it did seem like, well, maybe there's a potential here for this to be the charge, and we had multiple conversations with the Justice Department about charging gross negligence, she said. Billy Patterson is here, Sophie's mom. Thank you so much, Billy, for that super chat. Appreciate that. She added, the Justice Department's assessment was that it was both constitutionally vague, so that they did not actually feel that they could permissibly bring that charge. So you can charge somebody who brings a camera onto a nuclear submarine and takes pictures with his buddies, but Hillary Clinton sends hundreds of classified emails with top secret intelligence and special XX program intelligence, and it's vague. It's vague. Now, it sounds like she's reaching there. Page's testimony does coincide with what former FBI General Counsel James Baker told the committee on gross negligence. In testimony, he stated that he originally believed Hillary Clinton's mishandling of highly classified information was alarming and appalling, as first reported at sarahacarter.com. He also believed her use of a private server to send the classified emails was sufficient enough to secure an indictment to possibly charge her for violations under the Espionage Act for mishandling sensitive government documents. However, her testimony focuses on the DOJ's push not to charge Clinton, whereas Baker puts the onus on Comey. He said Comey did not believe the charges would stick, and that he argued with Comey until just before the public announcement not to charge Clinton. Baker suggested he changed his mind shortly before Comey announced publicly on July 5th, 2016, not to charge the then presidential candidate. One moment, guys. Oh my God, you guys. So sorry about that. I had a coughing fit. Page also expands on the FBI's controversial Crossfire Hurricane investigation into members of the Trump campaign and links the investigation to controversial text messages made between her and her former boyfriend and FBI Special Agent Peter Strzok regarding the insurance policy against Trump. Madeline Anderson says, awesome reports, bro. Thank you very much for the super chat, and I appreciate your compliment. Sorry, guys. Having a bit of trouble with my throat tonight. Strzok and Page were removed from special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation after their anti-Trump text messages were discovered. Page left the FBI, and Strzok was fired shortly thereafter. The text messages were discovered. Shortly after DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz's report was made public. Page expresses in her testimony that during the investigation into the Trump campaign, there was a sentiment at the time among Bureau officials regarding the president's electability. Nobody believed he could win. So upon the opening of the Crossfire Hurricane investigation, we had a number of discussions up through and including the director directly in which we were trying to find an answer to the question, right? Which is there someone associated with Trump campaign who is working with the Russians in order to obtain damaging information about Hillary Clinton, states Page. She adds, and given that it is August, we were very aware of the speed and sensitivity that we needed to operate under. We don't need to go back and do a total breakneck speed because so long as he doesn't become president, there isn't the same threat to national security, right? Page added. But if he becomes president, that totally changes the game. Little did they know, they never expected him to win. And they never expected Hillary to lose. Moreover, Page contradicts Orr's testimony regarding when she first knew about former British spy Christopher Steele's dossier. She claims in her testimony that she did not know about the dossier in August 2016. However, Orr's testimony reveals that he delivered Steele's information to the Bureau shortly after meeting with Steele. In fact, he met with former Deputy Director Andrew McCabe and specifically Page at the Bureau to deliver the information. Gina says, new Q, and we love you. Thank you very much. We'll get to it. Orr reveals this during an exchange with then Chairman of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, Trey Gowdy. Why? Why did you meet with them? Asked Gowdy. To pass the latest information that I had received, Orr responds. How did you find out who to meet with? Who did you call to find out? Questions Gowdy. Orr explains that prior to that meeting with McCabe and Page, he had met with Steele on July 30th, 2016. After the July 30th meeting with Chris Steele, I wanted to provide the information he had given me directly to the FBI. I reached out to Andrew McCabe, at that time Deputy Director of the FBI, and somebody who had previously led the Russian organized crime squad in New York, and who I had worked with in the past, and asked if we could meet with me, he said. I went to his office to provide the information, and Lisa Page was there, so I provided the information to them. At some point thereafter, I think I was given Peter Strzok, or somehow put in contact with Peter Strzok. Gowdy then asks, when exactly did Orr meet Strzok and Page? I don't recall the exact date, Orr says. I'm guessing it would have been in August, since I met with Chris Steele at the end of July, and I'm pretty sure I would have reached out to Andrew McCabe soon afterwards. The timeline is falling apart. Even when they're cooperating, they're still lying, and they are going to get creamed. Now, guys, remember from my video from last night, we had the report about this massive college admissions fraud scandal where many powerful and rich people, including Lori Loughlin from, what is that show with the kids? With Full House. It was on when I was very young, but I didn't really watch it. And now I guess they got Fuller House on on Netflix. And then Felicity Huffman. Felicity Huffman's an actress that I don't know anything she's been in, but I know she's married to William H. Macy. So yeah, you guys, how many likes do we have? Can somebody tell me how many likes we've got? Because we've got almost 2,500 people watching. It would be great if we had nearly 2,500 likes. That would be so sweet. So sweet. Okay. So this article has been updated to include the list of names of people who were arrested. Now, William Rick Singer, he is the mastermind of it all. He's the guy who would help the rich and powerful's children get into the school of their dreams, into Yale, into Princeton, into Brown, wherever it was that they wanted to go. Sorry. So in looking through all these names, you've got a lot of coaches for programs that people aren't paying attention to, like tennis, some soccer. You've got water polo, stuff like that. Kathy Haverstock says, keep it up. Thank you very much, Kathy. As long as you guys keep showing up for me to perform for, I will definitely keep reporting on the news. Zach says, the college scandal is the tip of the iceberg. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Zach. So true. This is the very beginning. This investigation, you guys, has been going on since 2011. Very interesting. Didn't realize it had been going on for that long. So it's very possible that these could be the beginnings of these indictments beginning to be unsealed. They have been working on this for 8 years. 8 years. So they've got rock solid cases against all of these people. Now, among those charged also are a lot of people that, like lower level people at the university. You got a guy he works for the ACT, women's coach, head of women and men's coach for tennis, more tennis, volleyball. So these are plausible sports that people could get recruited for and get a scholarship, or at least get admission because they're playing it. And and people wouldn't watch. Who's going to know if anybody is on the volleyball team? You've got some, not many people watching volleyball. It's not like if they got recruited and they said that they were a basketball player or a football player, then they would be showing that. But also you've got lots of CEOs. Now, they don't name any of these companies. They say like a casino or a beverage packaging company, a boutique marketing company, stuff like that, a development firm, fashion design. Man, I need to get some tea or something. But you do have 50 people. We got 32 people right here on that list. 33, then 45, and then 50. 50 even. 50 even. Dylan McConnell says, I found the cure to everything. Well, Dylan, don't hold back on us, dude. What is the cure for everything? Because I need something for my throat right now. What's going on? Hog says 1717, the magic number. Did not catch Cardinal Pell's sentencing yesterday, unfortunately. 6 years seems like not very long, especially when they gave Paul Manafort 7.5. Wolfhouse says it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of the needle than for the rich to get to heaven. That's very true. I like that. Okay. So moving on, Method says it's funny that the Obamas have a connection to at least one of the people indicted. At one time, this individual here, Gordon Ernst, he was Sasha and Malia's tennis coach. He was their tennis coach, and he was charged with racketeering. Kathy, I don't have any of that stuff. There's nothing for me to blow out of my nose, and I don't have any candy. I've only got water. It's weird. It's like there's something in my throat. It wasn't there before. Okay. So here's the actual article about Sasha and Malia's tennis coach right here. Women's soccer coach. Oh, wow. That's him right there. That is Malia Obama. This is the guy, the mastermind, William Rick Singer. Here are the actual court documents. Carissa says, yes, tea and honey. Yeah. If only I had someone here to make me some tea and honey, you guys. Okay, let's see. Next on the list here, we've got the Yale University women's soccer team coach. We've got the head soccer coach at USC and the Stanford sailing coach right there. Both charged with racketeering. That's the Stanford sailing coach again. Here, right here, this is the Texas tennis coach and former Kansas tennis coach. And the USC water polo coach, right? And then this guy, he's the ULC men's soccer coach, Jorge Salcedo. And then, of course, you've got Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman. And then Massimo, falling from grace. Massimo, the fashion designer. Yeah, Ricola. Oh my God, wait, I might have Ricolas. Ha ha ha! Oh my God, thank you, whoever said that. Dennis Kulikowski. Oh my God, I actually have some Ricolas. Man, that's great. Man, it's already better, you guys. Yeah, it might be a tumor. It's not a tumor. Oh, let me get some of that Ricola down my throat. That's perfect. Maybe a liberal ate your baby. All right, so a friend of mine on Twitter sent this over to me today. Another mysterious plane crash. This time in, let's see. This is a mysterious plane crash in Ohio. Authorities have identified the pilot who was killed Tuesday when a plane crashed into a home in Madeira, Ohio. David Sapp, 62, of Sun City, Arizona, died when the aircraft crashed on Raleigh-Mead Avenue around 3:20 p.m. Authorities say the plane caught fire after it struck a remodeled portion of an area home. Fire crews were able to extinguish the fire before it spread. Officials say everyone that lives in the home is safe and accounted for, including 2 dogs. Excellent. The National Transportation Safety Board plans to investigate the incident involving the Piper PA 31. At this particular point in time, we think the plane was inbound to Lunken Airport, said Steve Ashbrook. There was a report that the aircraft was on a mission of sorts to take photographs of the area. At this point, it remains unclear what caused the plane to crash. Officials are asking anyone that may have pictures or videos of the incident to send them. Let's go ahead and watch some video of the incident. Look, they blurred out the tail number. So, this is all it is, just the plane sitting in the backyard. And they don't know what happened. They don't know why it happened. But apparently this guy was taking pictures for geographic mapping information. All right, we've got some news about NXIVM. For anyone who isn't already aware, there have been major developments in the NXIVM case in the past 24 hours. It's more than any of us expected at this stage. I reported yesterday that a key witness, Nancy Salzman, had flipped, but there's more, a lot more. The government dropped a new memorandum of law filing that has a ton of new info. I'm going to be in and out today as I'm busy with other business, but I will briefly mention there is a ton of new information that has surfaced in the government's filing about NXIVM. There's allegations of illegal campaign finance contributions through conduits to what appears to be Hillary Clinton. There's concrete evidence of horrible stuff against NXIVM's leader, Vanguard Keith Raniere, and a voluminous amount of specific new evidence that is being introduced. All of this has surfaced, and there are more filings expected in the next few days. The activity to watch today is Nancy Salzman's guilty plea in the Eastern District of New York. It's supposed to be sometime this afternoon, although I'm not sure when. There should be a good amount of media coverage. Now, let's go ahead and look at some of that coverage. All right, you guys, I'm going to try to blow my nose and drink some water. Give me just a second. And we're back. Excellent, excellent. Feds expose more of their evidence. Bad news for Raniere. Some days it's just not worth getting out of bed. And if you're Keith Raniere, some days it's just not worth getting out of your prison bunk at MDC. Yesterday was one of those days. First came the news that Nancy Salzman, his original partner in crime with NXIVM ESP Criminal Enterprise, was going to plead guilty, and in all likelihood end up being one of the prosecution's prime witnesses against him and his remaining co-defendants in the case of the U.S. versus Raniere. Next, came a filing by the prosecution that exposes more of the evidence that it plans to introduce at his trial. The new details were set forth in a memorandum of law that the prosecution filed yesterday in support of its pending motion to admit a certain racketeering evidence into the case. Before we get into the details, let me explain the legal context of this situation. As readers of the Frank Report may recall, the first count in the superseding indictment in this case, which by the way applies to all the defendants, is for racketeering conspiracy. This is how they're getting them, guys. Racketeering in this case, racketeering in that last case. It's amazing. The predicate acts that were alleged in the superseding indictment in this case include the following: conspiracy to commit identity theft regarding Jane Doe 1. Conspiracy to unlawfully possess identification document. Conspiracy to commit identity theft. Identity theft regarding John Doe 1. Identity theft regarding John Doe 2. Conspiracy to alter records for use in an official proceeding. Conspiracy to commit identity theft regarding Jane Doe 2. Encouraging and inducing illegal entry. Money laundering. Trafficking of Jane Doe 4 for labor and services. State law extortion. Sex trafficking of Jane Doe 5, forced labor of Jane Doe 5, state law extortion of Jane Doe 5, forced labor of Jane Doe 6, state law extortion of Jane Doe 6, and conspiracy to commit identity theft regarding Jane Doe 7. The prosecution, of course, plans to introduce evidence to support its allegation regarding each of the cited predicate acts. But because this is a RICO charge, the prosecution is also allowed to introduce other evidence to prove such things as the existence and nature of the racketeering enterprise, the background of the racketeering enterprise, the membership of the defendants and others in the racketeering enterprise, the involvement of the defendants and others in the affairs of the racketeering enterprise, the relationship between the defendants and their co-conspirators, the continuity of the racketeering enterprise's illegal activities, and the methods and means employed by members and associates of the racketeering enterprise. So what the HE double hockey sticks does all that legal mumbo-jumbo mean? Well, simply put, it means that the prosecution can introduce evidence of other crimes and bad acts that the defendants did, even if those activities are not part of the charges pending against them in this case. Normally, such evidence would be barred as being prejudicial to the defendants in a criminal case. But unfortunately for Raniere and his remaining co-defendants, it's totally admissible in cases involving a RICO charge. Exactly. Somebody says, ha ha ha, HRC is screwed. That's why I wanted to make sure I read this, because we are going to be able to see the exact same thing happen in her cases. So, what are some of these crimes and bad acts that the prosecution wants to tell juries about? Here are some of the ones listed in yesterday's filing. Securing of visas and immigration status for certain non-citizens so that they could work in one or more NXIVM-affiliated organizations or become sex partners for Raniere. The propensity of Raniere to commit fraud as evidenced by his illegal consumers byline operation. Raniere's teachings about suppressives, women allegedly prideful nature, and their willingness to play victim in ethical breaches. The prosecution has more than 300 emails between Raniere and Jane Doe 4 discussing one of her ethical breaches, and more than 400 such emails discussing her acting like a victim. The efforts that were made to keep NXIVM members within the community and to recruit new DOS slaves. The cash smuggling, structuring, and tax evasion that were part of NXIVM's standard financial operations. The conduit contribution scheme by which NXIVM illegally funded campaign contributions to politicians. This was done for Hillary Clinton and likely others. The defendants' use of political strategists and lobbyists to illegally gain political influence and to use that influence to have their perceived enemies indicted for crimes they did not commit or on the basis of false or misleading information. Okay, the grooming and recruitment of partners for Raniere both within and outside of DOS. Claire Bronfman's long-standing intimate relationship with Raniere. They facilitated Raniere finding underage girls. Horrible stuff. I'm not even going to go into that one because that's all you need to know. Allison Mack's sham marriage to Nikki Klein. Kathy Russell's leasing of a property for over 7 years under an assumed name. The illegal surveillance of the email accounts and bank accounts of several non-members. NXIVM's use of harassment, coercion, and abusive litigation to intimidate and attack perceived enemies and critics of Raniere and DOS defectors. Raniere's statements in the Raniere versus Microsoft case, which showed the lengths to which he was willing to go to avoid admitting to his control of assets that he did in fact control. The attempts to protect Raniere after the existence of DOS was exposed by, among other things, attempting to silence and intimidate the DOS slaves and issue public statements falsely denying Raniere's involvement in DOS, and Bronfman's refusal to return the collateral of DOS members who had left the organization. The amount and breadth of the evidence that the prosecution has gathered in this case is truly amazing. Of course, it helped immensely that Raniere had a penchant for putting things in writing and for recording everything he ever did or said. As it turns out, Raniere will likely be voted as MVP for the prosecution team in this case. One more item to include in his inflated resume. Viva executive success. I need to say thank you very much to my friend Annette Funicello. Thank you for all you do. That's great. And Beach Blanket Bingo. And Larry Thompson, donate $2 and RP will adopt an ugly dog named Larry. Thanks, Larry. You make it all worthwhile. Okay, so moving on to the information about NXIVM. Co-founder of NXIVM Cult was expected to plead guilty today. And guess what? She did. NXIVM President Nancy Salzman pleads guilty as Raniere faces new charges. If Nancy Salzman right here, she flipped, you guys. She flipped. She went and testified against him. She now represents the first person in this case to be convicted. Now, with all the other people that are involved with NXIVM, who do you guys think that she is going to tell on? Okay? She has to give it all up. If she's willing to tell on her longtime lover, Keith Raniere, then I think she's probably not going to have any problem telling on HRC. Debach53 says, have been watching in Alaska. Great work. Thank you very much, my friend. I'm glad you're here. Alaska is beautiful. It is one of my favorite places. I love Denali. So, Salzman, right here, in a district court in Brooklyn today, pleaded guilty. She faces 33 to 41 months in prison as a result of that conviction, and a maximum fine of $250,000 plus possible restitution and forfeiture. There was no public disclosure in court of whether Salzman has agreed to cooperate in the ongoing investigation by the Justice Department, because they want to keep that secret as long as they can, which last year brought charges against Salzman as well as her daughter Lauren, NXIVM co-founder Keith Raniere, television actress Allison Mack, Claire Bronfman, the organization's operations director and an heiress of the Seagram's liquor empire, and Kathy Russell, a longtime bookkeeper of NXIVM. Salzman's plea came as the government filed a superseding indictment on Wednesday against the 5 remaining defendants. The new indictment severed Salzman from the case and added 7 additional charges, most that center on Raniere's alleged contact with underage girls. The new racketeering charges include multiple counts of exploitation of children, which include photographs and more witnesses. They have all the evidence that they need to get that slimy jerk. Salzman broke down as she apologized to her daughter and her parents while pleading guilty. It has taken me some time and soul-searching to come to this place, she said. I still believe some of what we did was good. You sick puppy. Salzman admitted to conspiring to commit 2 criminal acts: hacking into email accounts of the group's enemies, who were not named in court, and altering videotape of NXIVM instructional sessions during a federal civil lawsuit that pitted the group against the Ross Institute, which is operated by cult tracker Rick Ross, who works to alert the public to the dangers of cults. NXIVM sued the Ross Institute in 2003 after it published excerpts from a training manual that had been provided by an insider who had signed a non-disclosure agreement. Courts initially determined the Institute's quotations were covered by the Fair Use Doctrine, and the suit was dismissed in 2017. The government's computer hacking allegation is not the first time leaders of NXIVM have been accused of illegally monitoring email accounts. And thank you very much, F.E. Mishka. We need more patriots like you, Red Pill 78. Love and thank you for all that you do. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate that super chat. So, everybody was arrested. Raniere and Mack were arrested about a year ago. They arrested Salzman along with her daughter. Bronfman was taken into custody that same day. It's a 30-page, 11-count indictment on these people. We've got extortion, sex trafficking, harboring of aliens for financial gain, forced labor, various conspiracy charges, and wire fraud. The indictment seeks forfeiture of a half-moon townhouse that Raniere had called the library and allegedly used as his private lair, as well as more than $520,000 in cash that was seized last year from Nancy Salzman's half-moon residence. Basically, Keith Raniere is screwed, you guys. Keith Raniere is screwed, and that means that everybody else who's involved in this case is going to be screwed as well. Gotta love it. We're not going to read that one. We're going to move on to the Ethiopian air disaster. Well, Milspec Ops Monkey finds that there is a flight data discrepancy with this plane crash. According to the flight stats data, this aircraft completed its flight. Look at the filters. One planned, one actual. Note, the flight turned south where the other app shows it and at 9,000 feet and 470 miles per hour. Whoa. I don't know what just happened there. Hold on. I need to delete something on my DLive desktop. Okay. Yes. One of the best things you can invest in for your home protection is a... Sorry about that. All right. So, you can see here on the flight data right here, Kathy Rennick says, for Flonase, Kleenex, and Lozengers. Thank you very much. And CB says, keep up the fantastic job you do. Thank you. Thank you both for the super chats. I will definitely go and get some stuff from my local pharmacy after this broadcast. All right, so here we have speed and altitude. This is the flight path they're making. Let's move on to the next screen here. Here, you can see clearly that it made its full descent and it landed right here. Now, this is where it is showing that it crashed. Very, very interesting. Actual path. Actual path. That's the actual flight path that it took. This plane landed. Wow. Is there anything else in this thread here? Nope. Well, so I think that what this means is these people faked their deaths. Now, President Trump also today issued an emergency warning grounding all Boeing 737 MAX 9 and 8 aircraft after this Ethiopia crash. Is that because they can be taken over by the deep state? Is there an inherent danger in flying on these airplanes? We'll have to see. Now, the report blames government shutdown for failure to fix Boeing 737 software. Let's see how this ties in. In a report just released by the Wall Street Journal, sources reportedly say that Boeing efforts to fix a software problem on the 737 MAX jets was hampered by the extended government shutdown. Well, Boeing is a private organization. Why did the government shutdown have anything to do with Boeing fixing the software on their own jets? I don't get that. It's a developing story. That's all they say. Boeing is making significant software change. So I would say probably the president's emergency declaration to not use Boeing 737s is because of this software issue. Now, my friend, Mind Führer, he has a thread here that I wanted to show you guys about this Ethiopian plane crash. And maybe after we read this, we'll understand why they would want to fake those deaths. While the mainstream media beats us over the head with Manafort and college scandals, I took a second look at some Ethiopian Air Flight 302 victimology. So this is looks like a photo of the plane crash. I don't see any burning. It seems to me like if this crashed into the ground, it would be a lot of burning, wouldn't it? Wouldn't be a lot of scorched earth. This just looks to me like they took a backhoe and they filled it with these broken plane parts. All right, moving on to the next tweet in the thread. Mein Führer, thank you very much again for your excellent work. This guy's a great researcher, and I'm happy to use him here in my videos. He does great stuff all the time. There are tons of other happenings right now, including fair speculation that this particular plane crash never crashed, or at least not where they showed. But for now, this is what we got. I noticed an interesting pattern in a subgroup of passengers on ET-302. First, we have Abiodun Bashua from the UN. This person worked in Darfur. There he is right there. Now, next we've got Jackson Musoni, also for the UN, also worked in Darfur. Next, we have Nadia Adam Abakar Ali of the UN. Guess where she worked, guys? Darfur. And finally, Tamarat Mulu Demessi of Save the Children. The headquarters stationed in Fairfield, Connecticut, announced that Tamarat Mulu Demessi served as child protection and emergencies technical advisor of the organization, according to a Save the Children spokesperson. And he worked in Darfur. What do we know about areas where they have war zones going on? Yes, we're almost done with these guys, and then we're gonna do the drops. This is an excellent place to steal kids. All right, in a place like Darfur, they could get away with a lot of children. Spoiler alert: I'm looking at links to Darfur. Here's a 2007 to 2012 $2 million commitment with the Clinton Foundation by a group including PNC Foundation, Bridge Foundation, Citigroup, and Goldman Sachs. Also, here's an even more convincing Clinton Foundation International Rescue Committee $50 million commitment to Sudan from 2005 to 2010. Smiles M says, Field McConnell talks about... hold on. I got to go to my other screen here. Field McConnell talks about the Boeing Honeywell uninterruptible autopilot, very rate to have a plane crash as an accident. That's right. Yep, that's what I was getting at earlier. In 2009, a UN ICC court issued an arrest warrant for Sudan's king. He responded by expelling several large NGOs from Darfur, including Save the Children, accusing them of spying for the ICC. Now, however, they were allowed to return after heavy lobbying by John Kerry and the Obama administration on their behalf. Oddly, they had to change their names and logos. Influence and access was maintained. Save the Children and Hillary Clinton actually had a star-studded charity gala in 2013 hosted by Calvin Klein. Pretty close partners, it looks like. FYI, Save the Children's VP is Mark Shriver. His mother is a Kennedy. Now, let's connect further. Tamarat Mulu Demessi worked for Save the Children in Sudan as a child protection specialist. Well, look at that. He worked as a child protection specialist, somebody who was supposed to be really helping children. He's being remembered by colleagues at Save the Children, the international humanitarian agency based in Connecticut, as a humble force for social justice who crisscrossed the globe helping children from the tsunami-ravaged regions of South Asia to war-torn areas of Somalia and Sudan. Another Ethiopian, Tamarat Mulu Demessi, a child protection specialist who worked with Save the Children, was confirmed dead by the nonprofit in a statement hailing his tireless efforts to ensure that vulnerable children are safe during humanitarian crises. Again, humanitarian crises are an excellent opportunity to steal yourself some kids. Abiodun Bashua was Deputy Joint Special Representative for the African Union. There he is right there. Jackson Massoni was an Associate Field Coordinator for the UNHCR Refugee Agency in Darfur. Nadia Adam Abakar Ali, 40, joined UNHCR in Nyala, Sudan in 2010 as Assistant Protection Officer. She spent the last 9 years with UNHCR in Darfur. To summarize, 4 people connected to Darfur through UN or Save the Children. Clinton Foundation, UN, STC, presence in Darfur, protected by Obama administration. 1 plane crash kills the same 4 people. Add in the Gates Foundation, it's a cabal reunion. There we go. Save the Children receives $1 million Gates Foundation grant to assist displaced families in Western Darfur. As of now, based on available data, this pattern stood out the most. Darfur was and is a continuing horror show. Big bucks for those involved, and access to vulnerable individuals. Keep in mind, infrastructure projects is how the Clinton Foundation and UN and others infiltrated Haiti. Maybe the crash is a FF. Maybe these individuals were just unlucky. Maybe they knew about things from being in Darfur. Maybe they did things in Darfur. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong angle. I can't say. I just crunched the data. It's mostly circumstantial. There isn't much detailed data on the individual victims to analyze. I figured it was at least worth a thread in the meantime. Think logically. 7 out of 10. No coincidences. 7 out of 10 plane crashes are not coincidental or accidental. Excellent. Excellent work, Mein Führer. Good stuff. Love it. All right. Oh, yeah. And from my friend Severe, I hope you're out in the audience tonight, Severe. Why is the census so important? This is from a post from earlier today. If D's fight to protect, safeguard, and promote all illegal immigrants as rightful U.S. citizens who should be afforded all benefits and rights accordingly, why would they fight to block them from being counted as part of the U.S. Census? What would the data show? All that matters is power. Welcome to the Democratic Party con. Now, Severe put together a bunch of stuff here. Of the 9 seats redistributed by non-citizens, 6 went to California, while Texas, New York, and Florida each gained a seat, and New York retained a seat it otherwise would have lost. We found that of the 9 states that lost seats due to non-citizens, 4 were the results of illegals. That makes perfect sense because 40 to 50% of non-citizens are illegal citizens. Indiana, Michigan, and Mississippi each lost 1 seat in the House, and Montana failed to gain a seat it otherwise would have gained because of illegal aliens in other states. Now, as to why the Electoral College is also so important. Immigration and the resulting non-citizen population not only redistributes seats in the House, it has the same effect on presidential elections because the appointment of the Electoral College is based on the same basic calculations as congressional delegations. Thus, immigration policy and the resulting large non-citizen population it produces impacts the distribution of political influence both in Congress and in the executive. As a result, it often takes relatively few votes to win a district in some high immigration states. Our study on reapportionment found that in 2002, it took 101,000 votes to win the typical House race in the 9 states that lost a seat because of non-citizens. In contrast, it only took 68,000 votes to win the average district in California and 67,000 to win the average district in Texas, and just 81,000 to win the typical district in New York. Kim Castile says, blizzard in Colorado, do you think it's white hats, fighter jet scene? What better way to keep people out of the way than to keep them inside? Well, I think that's very, very, very interesting observation, and I think you might be right. I know that the weather is supposed to be really strange there. I think I saw a picture with a bunch of cars stuck on the highway. Now, the political distortions created by non-citizens are even more pronounced in some districts. For example, 43% of the population in California's immigration-heavy 31st district are not U.S. citizens. And in the 34th district, it's 38%. In Florida's 21st district, 28% of the population are not American citizens. In New York's 12th district, it's 23%, and in Texas's 29th district, it's 22%. The large number of non-citizens would seem to create a real tension with the principle of one man, one vote, because it now takes so few votes to win a congressional seat in many high immigration states. As already indicated, it takes about 100,000 voters to win the typical congressional race in the states that lost a seat due to the non-citizens. In contrast, it took less than 33,000 votes to win the 34th district in California and only 34,000 to win the 31st district in 2002. The 12th district of New York took only 42,000 votes to win. Allowing in enormous numbers of immigrants has created a situation in which the votes of American citizens living in low immigration states and districts count much less than the votes of citizens living in high immigration districts. Why the push for unfettered immigration? Why the push to end the Electoral College? Does the Democratic Party put America first? Who does put America first? Understand why they are so desperate. Panic in D.C. Use logic. Thank God and pray for our POTUS. Thank you. Thank you, Severe. Excellent thread. We're going to go ahead and refresh the screen now and check out all these new tasty drops. All right. So, we just read this. Let's take a look at this Epstein Island post right here. This is not just about trafficking. Will the rich and powerful influence the court to prevent the unsealing? The tale of two. One, SEX resort, non-temple resort only. Trafficked and drugged underage girls. Number two, occult worship of evil temple. Classified 1 through 9, Haiti. Pray for the victims. Wow. Epstein flight manifests. This is difficult to read unless we get real close. Bill Clinton, there we are. That's what I was looking for. Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton loved to go to Epstein Island. Next. Lifelog problems? Garbage file? Ooh. Maybe they were trying to... Maybe they've done something. Maybe the White Hats did something to Facebook. No, because they intimated earlier that... Well, they don't say that it was... They don't say that it was Facebook doing it to themselves. But how much more obvious can any of this be? Think LifeLog dump. I don't know. That definitely looks like they are taunting the deep state and the people at Facebook. Barr can be trusted. Barr can be trusted. Barr. William Barr can be trusted. I want everyone to know that William Barr can be trusted. Do you think the president is stupid enough to put in a rogue attorney general who's going to allow him and his children to be put in jail for made-up crimes? No. The answer is no. The answer is absolutely not. Hey, Dodge of Oz. My cubic in the Stay Calm and Slave on Silver coin arrived yesterday. They could waterboard the sick with hydrofluoric acid. Love to, and all stay safe. You stay safe too, buddy. Thank you very much. Roger Sloan says, checking in from South Carolina. Good. God bless. Glad you're here, buddy. Glad you're here. Let's go. Let's go on to the next post here. Kids say they can't log into Instagram or post on Facebook. And our favorite Anon says the cleaning crew is active. Size equals time to complete. Okay, so it's definitely them cleaning up. Whistle while you work. Have you seen the movie Snowden? Facebook is my BITCH. Regarding NSA access, DARPA panic exposure. Let's take a look. Facebook's data deals are under criminal investigation. Oh, it's from today. Holy crap. Comes out today, and then Facebook go down. Federal prosecutors are conducting a criminal investigation into data deals Facebook struck with some of the world's largest technology companies, intensifying scrutiny of the social media giant's business practices as it seeks to rebound from a year of scandals and setbacks. LJ, kind of off topic, but I'd like to suggest a pill to everyone. YouTube, rock and roll sorcerers of the new age, about musician connections to sicko Aleister Crowley. Okay, check it out, guys. Check it out. Thanks for that tip, buddy. Elizabeth Duckworth, thank you very much for that super chat, my friend. A grand jury in New York has subpoenaed records from at least 2 prominent makers of smartphones and other devices, according to 2 people who were familiar with the requests and who insisted on anonymity to discuss confidential legal matters. Both companies had entered into partnerships with Facebook, gaining broad access to the personal information of hundreds of millions of users. The companies were among more than 150, including Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and Sony, that had cut sharing deals with the world's dominant social media platform. One moment, guys. You guys, I think I'm getting hit with a 5G microwave beam because not only is my throat totally messed up, but my nose just started bleeding out of nowhere. It's really weird. I don't really get nosebleeds. It's weird. Let's see. Facebook has phased out most of the partnerships over the past 2 years. We are cooperating with investigators and take those probes seriously, a Facebook spokesperson said in a statement. We've provided public testimony, answered questions, and pledged that we will continue to do so. It is not clear when the grand jury inquiry, overseen by prosecutors with the United States Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York, began or exactly what it is focusing on. Facebook was already facing scrutiny by the Federal Trade Commission and the Securities and Exchange Commission, and the Department of Justice's Securities Fraud Unit began investigating it after reports that Cambridge Analytica, a political consulting firm, had improperly obtained the Facebook data of 87 million people and used it to build tools that helped President Trump's election campaign. The Justice Department and the Eastern District declined to comment for this article. The Cambridge investigation, still active, is being run by prosecutors from the Northern District of California. One former Cambridge employee said investigators questioned him as recently as late February. He and 3 other witnesses in the case, speaking on the condition of anonymity so they would not anger prosecutors, said a significant line of inquiry involved Facebook's claims it was misled by Cambridge. Huh. Mark Zuckerberg is looking weird. Looking weird. In public statements, Facebook executives had said that Cambridge told the company it was gathering data only for academic purposes, but the fine print accompanying a quiz app that collected the information said it could also be used commercially. Selling user data would have violated Facebook's rules at the time, yet the social network does not appear to have regularly checked that apps were complying. Facebook deleted the quiz app in December of 2015. The disclosures about Cambridge last year thrust Facebook into the worst crisis in its history. Then came news reports last June and December that the Facebook had given business partners, including makers of smartphones, tablets, and other devices, deep access to users' personal information, letting some companies effectively override users' privacy settings. The sharing deals empowered Microsoft's Bing search engine to map out the friends of virtually all Facebook users without their explicit consent, and allowed Amazon to obtain users' names and contact information through their friends. Apple was able to hide from Facebook users all indicators that its devices were even asking for data. Privacy advocates said the partnership seemed to violate a 2011 consent agreement between Facebook and the FTC, stemming from allegations that the company had shared data in ways that deceived consumers. The deals also appeared to contradict statements by Mark Zuckerberg and other executives that Facebook had clamped down several years ago on sharing the data of users' friends with outside developers. FTC officials who spent the past year investigating whether Facebook violated the 2011 agreement are now weighing the sharing deals as they negotiate a possible multi-billion-dollar fine. That would be the largest such penalty ever imposed by the trade regulator. Facebook has aggressively defended the partnerships, saying they were permitted under a provision in the FTC agreement that covered service providers, companies that act as extensions of the social network. The company has taken steps in the past year to tackle data misuse and misinformation. Last week, Mr. Zuckerberg unveiled a plan that would begin to pivot Facebook away from being a platform for public sharing and put more emphasis on private communications. Wow, Facebook is going to completely go the way of the dodo. Let's see. Elizabeth Duckworth, thank you very much for that super chat. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody, guys. Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg. I'm definitely going to go make myself some tea with some honey. High Value Warrior, thank you very much for the super chat. Glad you're here, my friend. All right, you guys, we're going to do one more final flip of the refresh. See if there's any more posts. Nope, absolutely no more posts. Okay, so it sounds. Oh, Chris picks. How do you, Chris? How do you? Tell us. Everybody can see. So yeah, it sounds like this investigation began. Q Team knew about it. They made all of those posts the other day about the LifeLog dump, and Facebook freaked out and knew that they needed to start deleting. They had to get rid of stuff. You guys, I'm going to take one hit of the vape before we say goodbye tonight. You guys, if you lose your photos on Facebook, it's not going to be that big of a deal. You will get over it. Think of how many photos you've taken over the years with your smartphone. How many thousands of photos that you don't have access to anymore. Maybe you lost your phone or something like that. Tens of thousands of photos that I probably will never get back and that I don't need to see because I never think about them. Sandy Zeiss, thank you very much for the super chat. Zach, I don't drink, my friend, but you can have a scotch for me, and I'll just get the psychic vibes from it. And let's see, water, lime, honey, ginger. Yeah, I've got most of those things. I need to go get me some. Oh God, Chris. Oh, that's horrible. Okay. I want to thank everyone for joining me tonight. Simone just showed up. As always, I am Red Pill 78, the corruption detector, and this was your Red Pill News. We are going to end this show with a song from my buddy my song from my buddy Severe. So let's listen to this and let's take it out. Severe, thank you so much for allowing us to use the song.
I've had it up to here with the division. We on the same side. We have the same vision. The name is Severe, you know me for flowing fluid. A lot of things to speak about, so let me get right to it. What's going on behind the scenes, I'm also going through it. But everybody has a breaking point and then they lose it. That's the point I'm at, watching the division of this movement. They try to turn us against each other like we're stupid. Little did they know the amount of damage they were doing. Not to us, but to themselves, cause we stayed united through it. Patriots united, I'm red-pilling with my music. You have a mind of your own and I suggest you use it. Even though we're winning, they try to convince you that we're losing. Wizardry and sleight of hand, creating an illusion consciously. They keep you blind through lies and confusion. That's attached to testify, you need to draw your own conclusion. They take the truth and twist it into distorted delusion. They perfected propaganda, the point has been proven. They want us all divided, cause divided we are weak. But together we can find the information that we seek. It's hard to see the distance from the bottom of the creek. You can see the bigger picture once you make it to the beat. Realize it's now or never. If we don't get it together, we're gonna lose it all. Kiss it goodbye forever. All of these guys will tell you all these lies, but never would they tell the truth because their ties get severed. You wanna stay blind in the same line, whatever, while they walk among us and think in their minds they're clever. I'll bring a unifying message every time I'm spitting. Every word I've written exemplifies the same position. We're on the same side, now they control the opposition. Reacting off emotion, but take a moment to listen. Wizards and warlocks with potions and prescriptions. Hinder the ability to make your own decision. 5% is fact, the other 95 is fiction. This is the land of the free. I'm on another mission. I bypass the lies and just bring y'all my wisdom. A product of my own research and not the system. Consider this a jailbreak from mental imprisonment to everybody listening. Mental nitroglycerin. Wake up and try to point to the own positioning. Break the lifeline and cut off all the conditioning.
United, not divided, guys. United, we are strong. Divided, we are weak. Don't let anybody else tell you what to think. You make up your own mind. You use discernment. And you decide who to trust and what you want to believe. All right? But do your research. Don't listen to me. Do your research. I love you guys. I love everybody that stuck around for that song. Severe, my boy. Thank you so much for writing awesome music. Everyone, as always, I am Red Pill 78, the corruption detector, and this was your Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless. Oh, hey, if you guys want to send me mail, you can find my P.O. box in the description of this video. Don't forget, also, if you want a yellow vest, you can email Jody. Her information is also in the description. And one more thing, if you want a Patriot flashlight, you can go to patriotflashlight.com and use the code REDPILL20 for 20% off. Love you guys. Good luck and God bless.